Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this episode of Nonsense Lore, we're going to talk about Fallout and discussing one of the most contentious issues among fans, the depiction of civilization in the series. Ever since the first season of the Fallout TV show revealed that Shady Sands was nuked and the NCR is now splintered across California, it's become glaringly obvious that Bethesda isn't keen on making civilization or society a permanent aspect of the series. Many fans, me included, believe Todd Howard and the team at Bethesda are always trying to reset society whenever it begins to rebuild, much like what they did with the NCR in the show. But let me tell you a little secret about the world building in Fallout. They don't fucking care! We shouldn't make excuses for Bethesda's shortcomings because they don't seem invested in maintaining coherent world building when it comes to civilizations in the Fallout universe. Other YouTubers like Vinylic Puma Gaming, The Game Theorists, and Grey Gaming have delved deeper into the societal issues in Fallout. But for this video, I want to briefly talk about how this problem that should not have been one in the first place could have been resolved. And it all starts with the timeline. It's safe for me to say that Fallout wouldn't be Fallout without a nuclear wasteland to explore and the constant struggle for survival. The mutant monsters and raiders are staples of the franchise and should be included in any form. However, it doesn't make any sense to have an abundance of monsters and raiders 200 years after the war. By then, society should have grown at least to a certain extent, and it should be a post-apocalyptic setting, not a perpetual hellscape. That would be a really stupid thing to happen. Oh wait. When Bethesda released Fallout 3, they set it in the year 2277, exactly 200 years after the Great War. And what's the first thing that players see when they step out of the vault? They see a world where people are still struggling to survive in the capital Wasteland as if the bombs fell only 20 or 30 years ago. It also doesn't help that everything looks recently destroyed and people are still living in ruined buildings. What gives? The most baffling aspect is that most, if not all, of the water in the area is not safe to drink. Why would anyone stay in a place where they can't take a sip of water without dying of radiation poisoning? And this is where Project Purity in the game takes place, which does make sense as a plot point. Fallout 4 also faces some of the same issues, taking place just 10 years after Fallout 3. Everything is too damn filthy, and no one seems to pick up after themselves, even in the settlements that do exist. Okay, the Institute, Raiders, and Mutants contribute to the Commonwealth's inability to grow and prosper, but it shouldn't be enough to halt all progress until Nate the Rake stops committing war crimes against Raiders like it's a normal Tuesday night, and just find his fucking lost son for anything to happen at all. Like, come on, what the fuck? But do you know which modern game in the series makes the most sense in terms of aesthetic and time period? It's Fallout 76. Fallout 76 takes place in 2102, 25 years after the Great War, and since the game reuses most, if not all, the assets from Fallout 4 in the game, I believe they work better in 76 due to how little time has passed since the bombs. Now back to Fallout 3 and 4, what would have I done differently in order to not create this lack of growth in the games? It's simple. Bethesda could have put Fallout 3 and 4 earlier in the timeline. Bethesda could have made a modern analog to Fallout 1 and 2, but set on the East Coast, as a way to see what was happening there while the events of those games took place. Fallout 3 could have been set in 2161, like the first game, and Fallout 4 in 2241, like in the second game. If they wanted to keep the games rooted in their post-apocalyptic setting without having to reset civilization every time, all they had to do was not advance the timeline. Also, Fallout New Vegas gets a pass because of course it does. Now, in this scenario, what would happen to the Fallout TV show? Personally, I would have liked it if the show rehashed the first game's plot. It was teased with the water chip failing and all, but it should have been the main focus of the first season. The biggest difference is that Lucy would enter a wasteland similar to New Vegas, rather than the show's post-apocalypse world. Yeah, that's a mouthful. A place where one or two nations are fighting over land that can be repopulated and civilized again. A borderland, if you will. Because honestly, it's ridiculous that Hank decided to destroy Shady Sands just because he got mad that his wife left the vault with the kids and thought detonating a nuke was a way to keep his woman in her place.
You wanna make my cock explode now?
Finally, I disagree with Chris Avalon's statement about civilization in Fallout. A post-apocalypse world can be interesting if it isn't set directly in the middle of an established nation like the NCR or Caesar's Legion. This is why New Vegas was smart with its setting and location. It's a gray zone where raiders and mutants are still around. Okay, that's enough of me glazing New Vegas. I don't know what Bethesda is planning for Fallout 5 or what will happen in the second season of the TV series, but it seems like the timeline will cross into the 2300s and might even be set in San Francisco due to the references in Fallout 4. But for now, I'll just leave it at that. So what do you guys think about my solution? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, like and subscribe to see more videos from me. Living in my garage, out.